auth dot digest dot digest. So this is the only difference. And again, parameters are same, username and password. So the only difference is authentication. So internal algorithms will be different. So here when I use basic, directly the username password will go to the server and authenticated. But here digest means what? Again, it will do some process internally. It will not directly hit the server. It will check multiple times and then it will hit the server. So algorithm is different. So here we're using basic authentication. Here we are using digest authentication. But user point of view, we don't see any difference between them. But internally, there is a lot of difference between those two authentications. And same API will also support digest authentication, also preemptive authentications, because all three authentications are having same username and password. Let me just copy this again and create one more type of authentication. Preventive authentication. This is digest authentication. And this is preemptive authentication. It depends on how APIs are designed. You don't decide which authentication is suitable for which API. Okay, so it depends on the customer requirement. Developer will have that kind of some kind of authentications for API. Okay, so they will intimate you what kind of authentications are required to use this API. Even if you look at some Swagger documentations, at the beginning, they will specify. So if you want to access these APIs or if you want to use these APIs, you need some token or you need some API key or you need some kind of username and password. So they will intimate you. So accordingly, we have to create our own authentications and then we will able to access the APIs. Okay. So it depends on the complexity of application. Suppose your applications are more sensitive and the lot of security is required, right? So in those cases, they will go with auth2 authentication because auth2 authentication is very, very critical and nobody can break that kind of authentications because we have to first create the key. Based on the key. Again, we have to again create the token. So multiple things are there. So it's very difficult to break that kind of authentication. So if your application is very complex and very sensitive, in those cases, they will prefer to OAuth2 authentications. And some applications prefer basic authentication or digest authentication, whatever it is. Especially while using emails, right? We are using Gmail, Yahoo. So these emails also, we are providing username and password. So they are internally using either digest or preemptive authentications. Okay, so it depends how APIs, how the customer is requirement. So based on that, developer will create such type of authentications, and the same kind of authentications we have to simulate to test the APIs. Okay, so this is a preemptive application, preemptive authentication. So there are three types of authentications. One is basic, digest, and preemptive. So all three exactly similar way it will work because they will take username and password, but internally the algorithm is different. So let us try to execute all three now. Save it. Okay, so first one, second one, and third one. So almost all three got executed, and we got the same body, same message. Okay, this is the API is given just for demo by Postman itself. They have given, so we can try this. Just a second. Sorry, we haven't changed it actually. Yeah, auth dot preemptive. So we have to select preemptive. And here in the preemptive, so we have to again select the basic. This is the actually the combination of basic and digest. Okay, so this is how we need to use preemptive authentication, guys. If it is a digest authentication, so we can use like this auth.digest. And the preemptive is a combination of we can say basic and digest. Okay, so first here we have to select preemptive, and then we have to select the basic. And don't think this is directly using basic like this. No, before basic authentication, they are adding one more type of authentication called preemptive. So the algorithm will be different. So basic is still there, but on top of the basic, they are also adding one more type of algorithm, which is preemptive. So this is a combination of two types of authentications. Okay, so preemptive dot basic also we have to use. We cannot use directly preemptive like digest. Preemptive dot basic. This is authentication. Yeah, same username and password we will use, but internally the algorithms will be different. So they will authenticate username and password in the different way. Okay, so now everything is got passed. So these are first three: basic authentication, digest, and preemptive authentications. And all three are required username and password, but internally algorithms are different. Okay, so how they have developed those algorithms, and we don't need to know all those things because they are having huge complex algorithms they will develop. So just we need to know how many types of authentications are there, how we can authenticate them in REST assured automation code. That's it. So next we will see, we have seen three kinds of authentication: basic, digest, and preemptive. So next one is bearer token, OAuth 2, 1, and API key. So these are three more types of authentications. So bearer token authentication. So bearer token authentication means what? We have to create our own token. Yeah. I already told you guys, the Postman is given this URL, which will support three kinds of authentications. Basic authentication will support, digest authentication also support, preemptive authentication also supported. So it depends on which authentication method we have chosen. Accordingly, the particular algorithm will be triggered. Okay, so the request is same. The parameters also same. Response also same. But what is the difference in these three? The type of authentication is different. Okay. So as a user, we can't see actually which authentication internally executed. We can't see that, but still we have used different methods, right? Still it is able to do it, but that means the proper logic is executed internally. Okay. Right. So now let us see bearer token authentication. And this is also most commonly used authentication. Void test bearer token, and this we can see in the Postman also, bearer token authentication. Priority 4. Bearer token authentication. So for this, we already done one API in the Postman. Let's go there and check. So bearer token auth the GitHub. So here to extract all GitHub repositories, right? So we have generated one token here. If you have a GitHub account, you can generate your own token. I hope everybody's done this earlier. And the same API request, again, we are going to use it here in the REST assured. So this is your token, which we can generate in the GitHub repository. How to generate the token in the GitHub repository? I already told you earlier. You can check it. We need to go to developer settings. And then we need to create a new token, and that token we have to use it here. So if not, I will show you one more time. Let's go to GitHub account. So you need to have GitHub login. And once you log into the GitHub, right? So you need to go to the developer settings here. You can see here, settings. So once you go to settings, right? So here you can see developer settings. Click on the developer settings. And here you can see personal access tokens. You have to select this. Right? So these are the tokens which I already created earlier. So now I am using them. If you want to generate a new token, you can just click on the generate a new token, and you need to authenticate again. Once you provided a password, it is created a new token. And also you need to give some